Welcome to another edition of Betting with the Pros. I'm your host, Ronnie P. And alongside me, the maniac himself, the man, the myth, the legend, Danny Chang. Danny, that Oregon State ride, man. Jesus. Oh,
A tough one for us. We definitely had some heart palpitations going into this most recent round, didn't we, Ron?
Heart palpitations. Is that what we're calling it, man? Is that what we're calling it, dude? Dude, okay, so I'll be honest, man. We had 100K on Oregon State to make the Final Four, so that game was big, man. And I had to stop watching because I couldn't take it. And then you text me, you're like, "You still watching?" And I turned back, and they're down by 5, dude. They're down by 5. Like, oh my god.
I think at one point I think they tied it up at one point, right? During that game or something.
Yeah,
they got really
dude,
close.
The whole neighborhood hated me. My whole neighborhood hates me. They hate me. They have to hate me. And they just couldn't get an offensive rebound. Like you can't forward. You're not going to win these games. So it was a fun ride, though, man. But it is what it is, right?
It was I was watching the reaction videos when we were having the games going on, and you went from so dejected during the first half of that game, just start off with so much hope to so sad to having a glimmer of hope again and to so sad again. I thought it was one of those emotional roller coasters for sure. I was telling you, it'd be better if they just lost the game outright, right? If they didn't come back, that would have even been a better result almost.
Just lose, man. Sports betting is like real basketball too. Like the games I got blown out didn't really bother me. Like whatever, you got blown out, whatever. But like the games we lost by 1 point or we came back and still lost, those are the games that 20 years later still haunts me. So, dude, yeah, I had some bad flashbacks from that, man. It was horrible. But
yeah, that was definitely a rough loss. Definitely a rough loss.
Yeah, that was a bad night. I was like, whatever. It was great odds, though, man. I would do it again, man. Like, you are a master of that. But what I did love, oh my God, UCLA. How did you call this, man? Because, I mean, dude, they were a play-in game. They had to take Michigan State to overtime to get into the tournament. And now they're in the Final Four? Like, how does that happen?
So it's like it's one of these things where, as I always told you, Ron, even when you didn't believe at me at the beginning of the tournament, that the dice roll where the dice roll at the end of the day. Sometimes you have the great side of a bet and you lose. Sometimes you have the worst side of a bet and win. But if you keep on getting good numbers over the long run, somewhere, somehow, something favorable is going to turn in your favor. And just this tournament, it happened to be UCLA. They went overtime in the play-in game, where they should have probably lost that play-in game. Then I think they had a decent round. And then I think they had another overtime game or something, right? I think they've won their last 3 games by less than 3 points or something crazy like that. Like, by no means have they been like one of these world beater teams. But hey, you only need to win by 1 in my book. So.
Yeah, hey, and Johnny Guzang, dude, I love that kid. I'm sending him a thank you note, man. I'm sending him a box of flowers, some roses. I got this guy hooked up, man. Dude, if you're watching, you're the man, dude. You're the man. Even though you missed that free throw at the end, you gave me a heart attack.
We should, after this show, we should send him a Twitter with a bet slip ticket. Say, thank you, Johnny Guzang. See if he responds.
Let's do it.
What a guy.
Let's do it, man. I mean, the dude killed it. 28 points, 11 of 19. But then he got injured. I'm like, oh, no, it's over. It's over. It's done. It's done. But he came through for us, man. That was a big win.
And lucky we have Final Four, because he really seemed like he was limping at the end of the game. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not so confident in Johnny Guzang versus Gonzaga here. Like, he seemed to be struggling a little bit at the end of that game. Like, he might be playing this next game on one ankle.
It was a good ride, man. But actually, we need him to win because we have a lot of futures on Baylor, man. So as of now, I think we have $40,000, $600 to win back on Baylor if they win a championship. So we need Gonzaga to go down, man. Can that happen?
Yeah, and we've been getting great prices on Baylor. It's one of these weird things where, as you've noticed, Ron, pretty much everywhere since we've been Baylor has had it lined at like plus 200, plus 250, plus 300, depending on the time. But this one sports book, BetMGM, consistently has it like double the price. So if it's like FanDuel, DraftKings, Pinnacle has it at plus 200, BetMGM will have it plus 400. If they're at 150, BetMGM will have it at plus 300. And we can't figure out why exactly, because I can't imagine their book is that unbalanced where they need to, like, they're desperate for action on Baylor. So it's just one of these weird things that we've been taking advantage of it and getting great prices. You know, I'm sure if we just, like, if you think about it this way, if we just bet the money line against Baylor every game, we'd be like perfectly hedged out right now. There's no way that Baylor is going to be plus 375 going into the last 2 games parlayed. So it's we're like perfectly hedged effectively. We could take zero risk into the finals if we just hedged it out. But as you know, we tend to like to take a little bit of risk on our end on these things. So it's
just a little bit
crazy situation that, you know, that it's so mispriced at this one book and they just refuse to adjust it.
That's why BetMGM got 4 stars on my ratings. I love you, BetMGM. So are we going to stick with the BetMGM model? Are we going to keep going with them, with Baylor, or what? What do you think?
Yeah, so I think in terms of other things that we should be playing, I was taking a look at the prices for this tournament. As you noticed, our strategy was to take a bunch of teams, long shots, risk a little to win a lot at the beginning of the tournament type thing. But as you've noticed, further and further along in the tournament, we've been betting actually much less than we were at the beginning of the tournament. That's because when there are fewer games, it's just easier for sports books to get those games prices right. And typically what we've been ended up doing is you start betting the better teams as the tournament goes on, just because the prices tend to get better as the tournament goes on randomly. So it's been a nice natural hedge for us in a lot of ways. You know, Baylor was a nice natural hedge for Arkansas for us, and it's at a great price. So we'll take that every time.
All right, let's do it, man. And actually right now I'm seeing it at plus 375. Wow.
Yeah, and if you look at other sports books just for other people out there, I think it's like plus 200 at DraftKings, like plus 250 at FanDuel. Like, and just so people, the difference between plus 375 and plus 250 is actually way bigger than the difference between plus 10,000 and plus 50 like 5,000, because like percentage wise, it's much bigger. Even though that logically doesn't make sense to a lot of people mathematically, but the difference between plus 375 and 250 is pretty significant.
No, I'm with you on that, man. And again, Baylor is pretty good, man. They got 2 All-Americans on the team, Butler and Mitchell. They've both been doing really good this tournament, shooting 40% from threes. Yeah. And here's the thing, man, like, I actually took an under in a Baylor game, which I'll never do ever again, man. Oh my God, they don't miss from downtown, dude. Jesus. Wow.
One bet that I'll remind you of that we also have, you know, kind of sneakily in there that I think we kind of forget about sometimes. I think we have MACIO TEAGUE to win player of the tournament also on Baylor.
Oh,
to win like
that's right, we do.
And if you looked at the stats for the last few games for Baylor, he's been like dominating the scoring line. I think he put up like 20-something points, like by far the biggest score over the last couple games. So not only were we rooting for a Baylor win, but also we're rooting for MACIO TEAGUE to score a lot of points, and it seems like he has. So.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, dude. So that'd be a double. Oh man, I'm loving this, man. I've missed March Madness, Danny. I missed it so much. It's so great. All right, man. So I think we're going to put some money on Baylor, man. Why not?
Perfect. Right? Yep. Let's lock that one in.
All right, we'll lock that in. And so we have a total that's going to give us, 43,876 if Baylor hits. Not bad. No, I'm sorry. That's another one. I'm sorry. 15,209 if Baylor hits, which will give us a grand total of $55,000.
Exactly. So we're a little net long Baylor now, which is, I think, a nice position to have. So we're rooting for a random UCLA upset and Baylor to happen. Don't hold your breath on the UCLA upset, but you know, things happen in March Madness. So
let me ask you a quick question, man, because you are like you're the odds guy. You play the odds. Is that dumb to take UCLA, or would you not advise?
I think I have no opinion on the game, to be honest.
You always say that.
You always say that. You know, I'm pretty honest about these things. When I have an opinion, I have an opinion. But, I think I saw the line at like minus 14 or something. It seems 14. Reasonable. I think it's a lot of points to give up. But like at the same time, Zaga has been world beaters this tournament. But what I will say is I do not see Gonzaga being more than a 2-1 favorite against Baylor in the finals, personally speaking.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
I think they'll be like 5-6 points maybe max, which will be probably like,
you think 5 or 6?
Yeah, I think they'll be 5 or 6 point favorites. So I think they'll be like plus like maybe 170 maybe against Baylor or something like that, personally
Okay.
speaking. So I don't think it's a crazy number by any means.
All right. I'm with you on that, man. So we're rooting for Baylor, man. So more reaction videos with Baylor because that's a lot. That's a lot of money too, man. So
Exactly. We also have a little bit of Houston as well, I think. I think we have like 24, 25 of Houston. So, it's not the end of
yeah,
the world if Houston wins, but definitely rooting for Baylor, as you said.
Houston to win championship game, and and we actually have 5K on Houston to make the Final Four. So Houston has done good for us. We've done really good this tournament, man. So far, what 57,000 we got so far. So better be watching.
Definitely
the show,
helps
guys.
to build the bankroll challenge, right? I think we've surpassed the 10,000 number that we were shooting for. I think we're going for 100 now.
I think so too, man. We're halfway there on that one. And is there any other futures that you have for us? Because I mean, like you have proven yourself, my friend.
One of the things I was looking at is baseball season starts tomorrow. Not a sport that, the hardcore fans follow, but a lot of sports bettors follow baseball. And one guy I've had my eye on in baseball for a while is this guy Shohei Ohtani to win the AL MVP. I saw him at BetMGM at like 30-1 or something like that. To win the AL MVP. And I'm seeing him at 20-1 at a few other books. And I saw Pinnacle has him lined at like 12-1 or 13-1, which is a pretty sharp sports book. And the whole idea behind this guy is there's like a really nice narrative around this guy to win MVP this year because he's a starting pitcher, funnily enough, who throws like 100 miles per hour and has a really nasty splitter. But he's also like a batter as well. He's like the second hitter in the Angels lineup, probably. So he's like one of these rare two-way players that we haven't seen since like Babe Ruth or something like that. So there's like a really nice narrative. If he also won Rookie of the Year his rookie year. So if he can stay healthy, which is a big if, obviously, he's like, there's a really nice narrative around him being like this weird two-way player who's good at both positions. No one has seen this type thing for the last 50 years. So there's a cool story surrounding him, and I think there's been a lot of steam picking up Ohtani. So, at 30-1, it's just like a line that people haven't moved, and I think like we should definitely jump on for as much as we can at this point.
Okay, let's listen. I'm following you to help and back, my friend. So I'm with you on that one.
I'd try to put something like 3,000, 3,500 on Ohtani and Baylor parlayed, because I don't think they're going to give us that much on Ohtani. And like the weird thing is if you parlay things, it's like a synthetic way to get more on your bets. It's like a very weird math concept, but I don't really want to kill viewers with math. But parlays are like a synthetic way to get more on your bets effectively. So on things that they're going to limit you, try to parlay some other things in there so that you're getting more action on it.
No, that kind of makes sense. I get that. So here's the thing with this parlay, though. It's not allowing us the full amount. The max is
how much are they giving us?
297.97
to win something like 40 or something like that.
We're gonna win $43,876, which it's not bad.
If that's what they give us, that's what they give us. So let's lock that one in. I think.
So why do you think they're not letting us?
It's because they don't like taking. They don't like taking big bets on these more niche markets like MVP type things, etc. Because they kind of know that they're not going to be able to price those things correctly. So they kind of have a feeling like if you're betting AL MVP, you're probably like a somewhat intelligent person who's trying to make money as opposed to just betting for fun. So they try to limit the amount of things that they can have big risk on that they're probably not super accurate on. That's why you see like we haven't really had an issue betting like any game lines. Like we could probably get down, 50,000 on the Baylor game, but like they wouldn't give us 50,000 on this Ohtani bet. So depending on the type of bet, they give different limits.
That's crazy, man. That's sports betting, I guess, huh? Sports betting.
All right, it's probably one of those things that viewers don't have the opportunity to deal with that much because like people have this misconception you can just bet whatever you want on anything you want and the sportsbook will take that bet. That's definitely not true, as you've seen, Ron. It's like that's why as you get better and better at sports betting, the name of the game isn't as much picking winners. It's more like, can you actually get down your bets is a bigger issue that most sports bettors run into over the long run. Because if a sports book is only letting you bet $500, $1,000, even $10,000, and you're trying to make a living doing it, it's incredibly difficult over time. You have to have multiple people betting for you, etc.
No, you're right. You're right about that, man. And it's funny because on Twitter, like you see a lot of BS posts. I just won this, and I'm like, no, you couldn't put money on that. Like the guy said he won like what $1 million on Super Bowl for a fan to jump to fan to run the field. I know for a fact you couldn't do $1 million on a prop bet because we tried on the show and it was max bet was like $1,000, $2,000. So you didn't win $1 million, bro. Like,
yeah, definitely. For something like that, where it's like the color of the Gatorade or like fan to run, they're giving you, max $500, max $1,000. You're not betting $1 million on anything like that.
No. Like, why do people lie about that? But that's another story for another day. But all right, we're gonna lock that in, Danny. 297.97 is gonna give us 43,876. So, yeah, folks, listen. The man was right about the Final Four. He had Houston. He had UCLA. He's got Baylor to win it all. We got 57,000 in the bankroll right now, so jump on this, man. Now, maybe don't put like 300 on it, but maybe $50 or $100, or $20, whatever. Put on there, man. Join the ride, join the fun.
Definitely. I think it's a fun way to build a portfolio, sweat your teams, and hopefully make some money at the end for sure.
It definitely is, man. It is. It's really good. And again, this whole tournament's been great, man. So I guess we'll got to see our live reactions on Monday, man. I mean, well, Saturday too. I'll be watching Saturday because we need Baylor to win. And I mean, like you said, Danny, we got money on Houston too, but the bigger bang is for Baylor. So let's go Baylor.
Definitely. And they're finally for one game in this tournament, Ron, we're betting on a favorite to win the game. I think Baylor's like a 2-1 favorite against Houston. It's like it's not as brutal to watch a 2-1 favorite. Like every game. It's like also difficult to bet these long shots, like psychologically for a lot of people, because as you've noticed, you lose over and over and over again because, every team you're betting is like a 3-1 underdog, a 4-1 underdog. So it's like psychologically quite brutal in a certain way because you lose 90% of the time. It's just, the times that you do win, you win a lot and it like more than compensates for the times you lose. But psychologically it's very difficult for people to like lose over and over again, and that's why you see a lot of people bet these big favorites typically. Like they'll bet the Gonzagas because they get that sense of winning because they're betting like an 8-1 favorite, but the payout on that 8-1 is only whatever a few bucks, whereas when you win you want to win much bigger is kind of the logic behind it.
But the favorites usually never win. That's the funny thing. Like, I mean, Gonzaga might actually win it because they're like you said, they're world beaters. But in college basketball, the favorite never wins, man. This year is just strange and weird, man. I don't know what to say, but I love it. I'm loving it though. It's been a great year.
Perfect. It's been a fun tournament, right?
Absolutely. It's been a fun tournament, man. It's been really fun. Absolutely. Danny, anything else you want to give to us before we call it a day or what?
No, I think that's it. I think, definitely follow on for Ron's reactions during the Saturday game and the Monday game this week. I think they'll be a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah.
And, if anyone has any questions, shoot us an email at linesniper@linesniper.com. We'll be happy to answer them or comment on our YouTube videos, like and subscribe, etc. But besides that, nothing from my end.
All right, cool. Yeah, you're right. Again, like you said, guys, like and subscribe. Comment below. What do you think? Are we crazy for going with Baylor? Did you join us with UCLA? Are you missing out? Let us know. I'm Ronnie P. Danny Chan. Thanks for watching, guys.